Portugal, there's a YouTube show full of fun facts you need to know.
Hola, bon dia, alegria. Munson here with the Good Morning Portugal show, the podcast, and the Portugal Club, of course, where this morning I've brought together a few of the themes that we're talking about with Colin Ross Jones, who'll join us in just a moment. Oh, yeah, let's cue up our intro sequence for Go Motoring Portugal as well. He won't be firing on all cylinders. See what I did there? Unless we have the proper intro music. But yeah, talk of Toyota's new water engine. I think it's a bit of a misnomer. We're popping over to see Benecar, our friends at Benecar, on Sunday. There's a big rally happening around here on the Silver Coast, calling into Atelier de Dos, which in fact, I had a bola de Belém for breakfast this morning, breakfast of champions this morning. Some very interesting news on a new electric brand coming into Portugal via JAP. And JAP I don't know a lot about. Colin may do. But we'll tell you all about JAP as well. And fuel prices, are they going up? I wonder what Colin thinks about that. Let's bring him on after his special introduction here, if we can find it. Where are you? We've got Go Motoring Portugal, the intro sequence that I think I made when I still had a beard. Hola, bon dia, Mr. Colin.
Morning.
There he is. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you.
Excellent, excellent. Yes, we got a lot to talk about this morning, Colin. I wasn't sure if you were thinking the same thing this morning, but petrol prices, fuel prices, threats, of course, because of what's going on in the world, that there will be a rise in fuel prices, price of oil going up. We've got. Sorry, go on. Did you want to address that straight away? Oh, you seem to have frozen up. I might have to address that on my own. The thing for me is fuel prices never seem to change because I only ever put 20 euros in. Let me also put up a picture of the new NIO, well, one of the NIO cars, the Firefly, that's coming into Portugal soon as well. Got a great news release from, oh, there he is, he's back. You all right there? We lost you for a moment.
Well, I didn't know whether it was your end or mine, so I'm just going to change to a different feed.
Well, it's going very well so far. Okay, give me a thumbs up when you're ready to join me, Belle. Send me a message in the private chat behind the scenes, which of course is how any Portugal Club members can join us as well on the private chat and sit in on the recording sessions every morning. This morning with Colin Ross Jones, and I was going to show you a beautiful picture, wasn't I? There you go. We've got the EL6 from NIO there, Chinese car. My confusion there is because it's being imported by JAP, J-A-P, who we'll tell you about. And in the show slide, you'll see their Firefly vehicle, which I'll bring onto the screen in just a moment for you as well. And there you go. There's the Firefly with its very interesting lighting array on the front there. And I'm sure, Colin, I don't think it's fair to say he's completely converted from petrol head to EV lover. He's an EV lover. I think we sang that at the last karaoke together. I made a right old mess of it. But yeah, I don't think he's a fully fledged EV lover. I think he's EV curious, and he really liked the new all-electric Renault 5. But let's see what he thinks of the Firefly, which you can see there, made by NIO and imported into Portugal by JAP. And the slightly, I think that's the slightly more luxurious version from their range, the EL6 there. So let's talk about those when he arrives and joins us. Another thing we want to share with you this morning, and I want to talk Colin through this because he wasn't with us last night for the Sao Martinho de Porto men's shed. Looks like the worst dogging event ever, doesn't it? Look at it. If I take that banner out the way on the screen there, you can see the big battery at the bottom there on the sack truck and an inverter. That was the off-grid system that we used yesterday to make tea and toast in the quay. in San Martinho de Porto. We did it at lunchtime, and then we reprised it in the early evening. And the tea that you can see being drunk there, Alex on the right, he brought his own mug of tea in a tea bag, and we brewed up using a 5 kilowatt battery on the key. And of course, talk came around to how some people are using their EVs as a mobile battery, basically a power source or an alternative power source for their home. Let's bring him back onto the screen, see if he's ready to join us in earnest now. Are you there, Colin, behind the scenes? Let's see if we can hear you now. How are you?
Hi.
Right, a bit of a technical challenge for you this morning, by the sound of it, or the look of it.
Well, I don't know what you mentioned petrol prices, and suddenly my computer went
We got
haywire.
Yes. Okay. Well, maybe we can start there. It's perhaps a fairly easy issue to deal with. There were fears with Trump's extraordinary what we call it, behavior intervention in the Middle East, and a launch on Iran, a missile launch on Iran that, of course, notwithstanding the loss of human life and endless war and conflict, which is bad enough, many people are fearing on a more prosaic level a hike in oil prices and therefore fuel prices for the consumer on the ground, as has been the case for decades now, right? When we have conflict in the Middle East, are you seeing prices rise at the petrol pumps here in Europe?
Yes. Yeah.
Oh,
it's not just conflict. It's not just conflict. I mean, they use any excuse they can to get the prices as high as possible and make as much profit as they can.
That's very cynical, Colin.
It's what's gone on for ever since the big oil companies have taken oil out the ground, and since they got the OPEC, all of a sudden it's sort of fluctuating all over the place.
Yes.
And us poor consumers, we go one place and we buy up fuel, and then we end up thinking, we'll go to the cheapy place because it's the same fuel. It might be the same fuel, but they may have older tanks, and older tanks bring in the dirt. So it's not always the best thing to do.
Okay.
I mean, I run my car.
Yeah, I think I remember you talking about this. Yeah, be careful just shopping on price, because there may be other factors to be considering.
But I run my car on the Shell V-Power, which is called V-Power Racing because it's 98 octane, which my car particularly likes a lot of.
Yes, I know.
And the only place around here that does that is on the motorway at the Obidosh services. But they give you a card, and that card gives you 10 cents a litre off every time you go. But on a Wednesday, which is why we go shopping on a Wednesday, they give 14 cents a litre. So quite often I'm paying less for my super duper racing fuel than people are paying for normal 95 or in the other garages.
So this is how the man in the street or the man in his car fights back against such a cynical price. I mean, I think it's okay to call it rigging, isn't it? No disaster goes to waste, does it? At the highest levels of corporations. And we noticed this. We went to get a new gas bottle. Yeah, we went to get a new gas bottle the other day. Oh, sorry, it's gone up another €3. And you think, well, hold on a minute.
Yeah.
Any excuse, right? And
it's just gas.
Yes, exactly. To be fair, liquid gas in a bottle. And to be fair to Portuguese retailers, that they do put the prices down occasionally if that's passed on to them in a way that I think in other countries it never goes down; it just keeps going up. So thank you, Portugal, for being fair like that. May it always stay that way. So fuel prices definitely going up then, from your point of view.
Yeah, well, you don't get to nearly 75 and not expect fuel prices to alter on a weekly basis. So it's just an excuse. I mean, they're not the biggest producers of oil and petrol, so other countries are.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
So,
Yes, and there's a lot of crude apparently. I was told from a geopolitical expert, Peter Zien, I think he wasn't concerned about rising fuel prices because there's
no,
plenty more crude being brought out of the ground in the US, which should attenuate that. But I think
exactly.
as we were saying, if ever there's any sense of crisis, prices tend to go up. It's a prices crisis. Right. And yes, the fuel prices, should you want to know, if you're making a comparison from another country and you're looking at coming to live in Portugal, along with the exchange rates and what's coming up today, as we put into the Portugal Club, our exclusive platform. Today's average fuel prices in Portugal, approximately 177 per litre for unleaded, 95 that is, 95, and 164 for diesel, and unleaded appears to be slightly up on yesterday. I'm tracking these prices at the moment, diesel unchanged, but the trend, as Colin's suggesting there, ever upward. And incidentally, while you're looking to buy euros, your dollar's going to buy you 86 centimos, and a UK pound will buy you 117. And that volatility, well, there isn't much volatility in that just recently, but we shall see what happens with that. And Sarah Davey of Spartan Effects will be joining us soon with commentary on that. We're also mentioning there this Benecar rally that's coming up on Sunday, and this idea, somebody sent me a link only last night, Colin, about Toyota's new so-called water engine. Before we go to those two items, can I draw your attention to the slide, the tile of this morning's show, and you'll see on it there the Firefly. I think I forwarded this press release to you. NIO are coming to Portugal via the company JAP. Do you know anything about NIO or JAP?
I know quite a bit about NIO. Yes, yeah.
Tell us about NIO,
JAP,
and then I'll tell everyone about JAP.
Yeah, NIO is another Chinese automaker that is quite unique in the fact that whilst they had nice, expensive luxury products, for the batteries, they went a different route. They do stations for battery exchange.
Oh.
So your car turns up, it has automated parking, so you just press a button, the car will go into this, like a car wash, the old-fashioned car wash building, go in, up will come some robot that undoes your battery, slides it to one side, picks up the new or recharged battery, puts it in, screws it in, and off you go in 5 minutes.
No.
And they've successfully done these throughout China, and I think Germany has quite a lot, and I think obviously Norway, because Norway is Europe's leading electric car buyer.
Is it?
Well, yeah. See, there's the irony. Where's Norway make all its money?
Oil.
From oil. Yeah. So
Right.
and
bacalhau as well, to be fair.
The world just is an amazing place, isn't it? Because there they are making all their money from oil, and they're all buying electric cars.
Yes. Wow, incredible. And there is one of NIO's cars that has the robot battery change. And this isn't science fiction.
Yeah.
This is actually happening. The service you talk about.
Well, it's been going on for last 4 to 5 years.
Has it? Amazing.
So
there it is.
They've invested very heavily in these battery exchange buildings. So
How often
I think it's a very good idea.
How often are you there?
Sorry?
How often are you there getting your battery exchanged?
Well, if you're not charging at home and you want to charge it, it's like other electric car users would charge on the road rather than at home because they need to. In this case, you just turn up at one of their battery stations and
I'm with
away
you
you
now.
go.
Okay. Sorry, I
So
thought
you're
you were
not stuck at a
replacement. I thought you were talking about when the battery life is over.
No, it's instead of going to a charger.
Oh, okay. That's a good idea. It's like going to your petrol station.
Well,
You just go and get a fuel cell.
exactly. Sorry, I didn't make that clear, but they what it is, the biggest hurdle for anybody buying an electric car that uses the car more than 30, 40 kilometers a day is they keep saying, well, you know, if I stop to refuel it, to recharge it, I'm stuck there for 20 to 40 minutes.
Yeah, right.
And I might have to do that twice in my journey. So, you know, I've lost an hour and a half.
Whereas with this, you're in and out, and the robot's taking care
You're
of
in
it.
and out, and just like filling up with petrol.
Very good. This looks like the not, I don't know if you could call it their budget car, but maybe their entry level car, the
This
Firefly.
is the Firefly brand is their budget
Yeah.
brand.
All right. Well, let's find out
You know,
more
at the
about
moment
these.
but at the moment we are seeing now car manufacturers bringing cars in that are affordable.
Yes.
But that, you know,
If not for tariffs, and
us
tax.
non-corporate people.
Yes.
You
Yeah.
know,
Okay.
corporate
And that's
people
the
could
problem,
buy they could buy the Porsches and the Teslas and expensive Mercs, but we couldn't.
Yes, yes. However, with tariffs and taxes, even if the Chinese are trying to make affordable cars, that can change en route to the country, the destination country. And managing that to process here into Portugal for NIO, the JAP Group has been chosen as NIO's exclusive partner for the brand's launch in Portugal, marking a new chapter in the global smart electric vehicle company's European expansion. The national launch is scheduled for the last quarter of 25, which is maybe when we can get our hands on one, Colin, and will feature a multi-brand offering that includes NIO, a global reference in the premium segment, and the new Firefly brand. Okay, so NIO is their Lexus, Firefly is their budget end aimed at urban and digital audiences, whatever they are. NIO thus joins other international brands that have recently entrusted the JAP Group with their entry into the Portuguese market, such as Photon and GAC, that's a terrible name, reinforcing the group's positioning as a strategic partner of reference for global manufacturers in the electric and sustainable mobility sector. All of this terminology is so complicated. Why don't they just say electric cars, Colin? NIO's expansion into Portugal is part of a broader expansion by the company, which also includes Greece, Cyprus, and Bulgaria, as well as the start of distribution in Denmark. Selection of experienced local distributors such as JAP Group represents a new phase in NIO's European strategy and reinforces its commitment to sustainable, digital, and user-centric mobility. NIO represents the future of premium mobility, and we're proud to lead its entry into Portugal, combining technological innovation, design, and unique digital experience. This partnership reflects our commitment to sustainability and leadership in the new era of electric mobility, said Jan Ermika, CEO of JAP Group. Two brands, one goal: sustainable motoring and advanced technology. So NIO and Firefly, as we've heard there. The models heading towards Portugal are the NIO EL6. You saw the picture, modern and versatile SUV with advanced technology and great autonomy. The NIO ET5, the sporty and elegant saloon. The ET5 Touring, the estate variant of the ET5. Oh, an electric estate. And the Firefly, as you've seen there. New brand in the NIO universe, disruptive and irreverent, tailor-made for urban and digital users of the 21st century. Colin, what is a digital user? What are they talking about? Big sigh.
Us old school car lovers, we detest the fact that you can't put the radio on, you can't change the air conditioning with a touch of a button.
Yes.
And, you know, it's bad enough when you're driving that people are using their mobile phones, but when they're constantly looking at a screen to put down a window or change the air conditioning setting or change the radio, it's absolutely insane, and it's very, very dangerous.
Yeah. And is that what a digital user means to you? You're thinking something that you can't do an analog. You can't use an analog switch, basically.
Well, not just that. They want the car to drive itself, and they want it to park itself. They want it to tell them everything. And where's the challenge now in driving? The challenge is obviously in Portugal, but
I'm just saying, yeah, you're challenged enough on the roads here, I'm sure. Right.
yeah.
Okay. You're sounding a bit grumpy this morning, I have to say, with this digital user experience. So onward and upward then, to the future, and then finally the rally this morning. Before we go to Benedita and Benecar, amazing things happening in Benedita. I went to a bagel shop of all things there just recently. But Toyota's water engine, we're in the age of fake news. We're in the age of attention grabbing. And it would appear that the Toyota water engine has been doing all of that, looking like a bit of a fake news story, but certainly grabbing people's attention. And it's a bit of a threat to the electric scene, because the whole world's getting ready for electric cars. And then in comes Toyota's water engine idea, which is supposed to revolutionize and undermine everything. The water engines, I remember when I wrote for Positive News, this idea goes back to the 1930s. Is there any truth in this at all, this idea of a so-called water engine?
Yes, it exists, but it doesn't just pour water into your engine and you run off water, because water is a very, very expensive commodity. If you think of the price of a litre of water compared to the price of a fuel, and you start multiplying it, it becomes very expensive. So, and we need to look after our water in this world of ours. So what it is Toyota have found a way, and they're not the only one, because there is another company also doing the same, and also JCB, the digger people.
Really?
Yeah, they all have hydrogen engines, which they're calling water engines, because the hydrogen is produced from the water.
Yeah.
So it's, instead of making as they have done for a number of years now, making the hydrogen fuel cell run electric to run the vehicle, they've now found a way which they can put the hydrogen in almost a normal internal combustion engine with certain changes. So it means that their production facility can suddenly change to produce hydrogen engines, as under the words of water engines, and they will inject hydrogen into the cylinder and burn the hydrogen. And the only thing that's left, because when you're putting oxygen and hydrogen together, as we all know, you produce water.
Yep. Okay.
So the air coming in and the hydrogen, they then out of the exhaust comes pure water. You can actually drink it.
Right. But given that most of the world is gearing up for electric vehicles, and there seems to be quite a politically connected agenda to that, this will be very disruptive, or will be sidelined. What do you think its chances are of major adoption?
I personally think it would be a third.
Okay,
a third electric, a third hydrogen, and a third petrol and diesel split, because not all countries want to go or can go for electric cars or hydrogen, because the infrastructure isn't there yet for hydrogen refueling, which will be exactly the same as petrol. You will just turn up at a hydrogen station within a petrol station probably, and plug it in, and 5 minutes later you full again and off you go.
Yes, we're talking of infrastructure. We see in the United Kingdom that people are being encouraged not to plug their electric vehicle in when they get home from work. Otherwise, they may face some sort of surcharge or tax on their electricity, and are being encouraged to charge up overnight, which does make some sense, of course.
Exactly.
Electricity has always been cheaper, but it's really quite clunky, isn't it? If you think of how electric vehicles are sold on convenience and cleanliness and cost. and then you end up with these sort of more difficult challenges because the supply simply isn't there. But anyway, it's all work in progress, early days, and there we can see the Toyota water engine. I think the brand name is the Mirai, or the model name. Brand is Toyota. Term is often used as a nickname for their hydrogen fuel cell technology, and that's where the misnomer is coming in of the water engine, particularly their Mirai, where the only byproduct of the fuel cell reaction, as you said, they call it, is water. While Toyota is exploring hydrogen as a fuel source and has developed technologies like the Mirai's fuel cell, it is not a car that runs directly on water. So there you go. We'll keep an eye out for that. Do you think Portugal will play any particularly interesting part in that? This country is incredible with the amount of factories making specialist things. We could find an edge here in Portugal, couldn't we, in hydrogen cell motoring, possibly?
I think so. But my concern about anything that is produced in Portugal is the fact that they just get it so wrong.
What do you mean?
To the end user. Well, yes, we have ordered about 5 weeks ago a spiral staircase.
Like you do, yeah.
It's a package, comes in. You check the package, there's one piece missing, so we can't build it. So, companies, you ring them up and they say, oh, sorry about that. But when will we get it?
Yes.
I don't know. And I can't believe that if they're supplying on a global basis, that people will accept this. Just don't know.
Yes. Okay.
Not sorry.
A supply chain challenge of the most basic order, as in not a supply of parts of the product you've ordered. Okay, interesting comment. Before we go, thank you for your commentary on that, on the so-called water engine. We've got to Miguel Franco heading this way literally to Portugal, making his way from the United States and looking at Portugal as a place to live. As a young man, he go-kart raced with Ayrton Senna, and he uses a racing car. Sorry, carry on.
So that's a long way to come on a go-kart.
I think he's flying. However,
is he?
He might be calling on you to introduce him to the karting tracks of Portugal. Have you ever used any of them? Have you done that sport?
Not here in Portugal, no. I mean, the problem for an ex-racing driver in go-kart tracks is you get beaten by. Oh, sorry, I have. I've been at the Portimao one. I've driven there twice. Yeah. Once in a go-kart, once in the brand new Toyota GR Yaris. But you get beaten by people who are half your weight.
Ah, okay. Yeah. All right. That makes sense. Well, he's a very interesting chap. He's using motor racing as a metaphor for high performance as an individual. Wow. And for CEOs, hence his company name, the High Flow CEO. And you can find that online, highflowceo.com. And I'm looking forward to hanging out with Miguel, as I'm sure you are as well, Colin. Then finally, this morning, we are heading to Benecar, our friends over there in Benedita. What's going on this coming Sunday?
Well, Benecar, every year, they produce this classic car event where they start off at Benecar in Benedita, and then they travel the Silver Coast and end up back for lunch in their cafe, restaurant. And then from 3 o'clock, the mere mortals like you and I are allowed to go and see the cars parked up in their car park.
Yes.
So, and then you are given a private tour of their own classic car museum. But for those people who haven't been to Benecar, the whole place is like a museum. It's incredible. I mean, the cars are sat as if they're in a luxury hotel.
Yes, it's true.
It is an amazing place with 2,000 cars in stock. They sell around about 200 cars a week, and there's something for everybody.
Yep, and we help people buy vehicles there. You've got some new friends, I would say, who you've taken to Benecar and help them buy a vehicle here in Portugal. So well done on that. And if you need a bit of help looking for a vehicle, Colin offers that service. and he'll take you to Benecar. You can come with us on Sunday, in fact, if you'd like to do that. And as you can see there, it's going to a number of our favorite places. Atelier de Dos, the amazing cake emporium, just up the road from here in San Martinho de Porto, which you can also see on that poster. So they're coming through my town as well this Sunday. Thank you, Colin. Any other business before we go? That's anything that's from the motoring world that's attracted your attention this month?
I think it's interesting that the boss of Renault has left and gone to a fashion product, because
wow,
he's revolutionized Renault from the top down. He's brought in all these retro style cars like the new Renault 5, the Renault 4. He's made Alpine into a brand. Alpine is the sporting brand of Renault. And now everybody's saying, will these things survive because he's gone? But, you know, he was revolutionary. He certainly made a big difference with the people he brought in. And they keep saying, will Renault sell the F1 Alpine brand? And the fact is that it's worth billions. So it's either keep it and let its value keep going up, or sell it and have no, because they've stopped making their engines now for F1, so you'd have no involvement in F1. So who knows? Let's see.
Okay, and we're talking about Luca de Mayo, aren't we here? Nothing to do with Mayo.
Yes, Luca de Mayo.
Okay, no, and which fashion brand is he at now? Not Farah Slacks. I think it's probably high-end sort of stuff. Okay, so that's interesting, and it's the other way around, isn't it?
High-end.
They brought fashion into the world of Jaguar, and this is the other way around. So do you see more of this sort of thing, the overlap between the two? Which I suspect when you were in the motor trade, you never thought there would be an overlap between the catwalk and the garage, did you?
Well, you say that. You remember I used to work for Italian car companies, so even in the Fiat Panda, when they brought out special models of products, as they always do. Instead of a facelift, you bring out a limited edition, and they had little suitcases specially made that fit the pockets in the doors. You know, from a fashion house did that. So.
So we might expect that more in Europe, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I'm talking late 80s, you know, so early 90s. So if they did it then, it's nothing new.
Yeah, true. Yes.
If you know, it's always been famous that if you buy a Ferrari, you can have tailor-made suitcases in the boot for your dirty weekend away.
Listen to you.
And they are fashion products that are well known.
Okay, so not a new precedent at all, but maybe more to follow of that kind, of that sort of, the parallels between different industries and what are the takeaways that can be moved from one industry to another. Colin, thank you so much. See you on Sunday.
Yep, we need to sort the time out.
We so do. Okay, I will do that after the show. Thank you for being here. All the best to you. Ciao, ciao.